I grew up hearing stories about the Black Pines, a stretch of forest just outside the edge of town that everyone pretended didn't exist. People used to say the trees were planted too close together on purpose, like someone wanted to hide something inside. When I was a kid, my friends dared each other to go in at night, but nobody did. There were rumors, an urban myth passed round in whispers, about a man who lived between the trees without ever showing his face, someone who watched, waited, and followed anyone who stepped foot inside. Stray animals disappeared. A few hikers went missing, but there was never proof, just stories. Last month, the town started hearing screams coming from the woods late at night, long stretched, distorted screams. Not human, not animal, something in between. Most people stayed quiet about it, but the police put up flimsy wooden barriers, clearly just for show. No one wanted to admit that something was happening again. A few days later, a 17-year-old boy vanished. He was last seen taking a shortcut near the edge of the Black Pines. The town panicked, and suddenly the myths didn't seem so funny. I tried to ignore it, but every night I could hear something from my bedroom window, a faint echo coming from the forest, a tone I couldn't explain. I don't know what got into me that night, maybe curiosity, maybe boredom, maybe something calling to me. But I grabbed a flashlight and headed toward the Black Pines after midnight. As soon as I stepped into the forest, the temperature dropped. The air smelled like damp wood and something metallic, like rust. The trees were tall enough to swallow the moonlight, turning the ground into a maze of shadows. The deeper I walked, the more I got the feeling that I wasn't alone. Not that someone was watching me. More like the trees themselves were aware of me, like they were listening. About 20 minutes in, I found something strange. A rope, a thick rope tied around a tree trunk, stretching deeper into the woods. It looked new, recently tied. I followed it. I don't know why. Maybe I expected it to lead to the missing boy. Or something worse. The deeper I went, the more ropes I saw, some tied to branches, some dangling like nooses, some woven together to create strange patterns. And then I heard it. Footsteps behind me, slow, wet, deliberate. I spun around, but the forest was silent. Nothing moved. No animals, no wind. Just silence, so heavy it felt alive. I decided to turn off my flashlight for a few seconds to listen. I don't know why. Maybe to test if the footsteps would return. When the world went dark, I felt something pass by me. Not touching me, more like brushing through me. Like a cold wave, like stepping through someone's shadow. I turned the light back on, shaking, and that's when I saw footprints on the ground. Fresh ones, bare feet, not human. Each print had long, curved impressions, like claws, dragging through the soil. They led deeper into the woods, the same direction as the ropes. I followed them anyway. After another 10 minutes, the forest opened into a small clearing, and I saw something hanging from the trees. Fabric, torn pieces of clothing tied to branches, arranged in spirals. Blue shirt, red hoodie, something yellow with cartoon characters printed on it. I recognized that one. The missing boy had worn it the day he disappeared. I stepped closer, and my stomach dropped. More clothes were tied above, dozens of them, maybe hundreds, all different sizes, different ages. Some looked decades old. Some looked brand new. And in the center of the clearing, half buried in the dirt, was a door. Not attached to a house, not attached to anything, just a wooden door lying flat on the ground, with a metal handle and carvings scratched into it. The carvings all pointed inward, like arrows pulling you toward the handle. I knelt down and touched it. The wood was warm. Too warm. Like it had been lying under the sun, but there was no sun here. I felt a vibration under my fingers. Something breathing. Something alive. Then the footsteps returned, fast, rushing toward me. I froze. My flashlight flickered. The footsteps circled me, close enough for me to hear air moving around them, but still invisible. When the flashlight stabilized, everything stopped. Silence again. I don't know why I did it. Maybe it was instinct, maybe fear, maybe something manipulating me. But I grabbed the handle of the door and pulled. The ground beneath me split open as the door swung upward, revealing a staircase descending into complete darkness. At the bottom, I heard a whisper. It wasn't a voice. It was like hundreds of tiny whispers layered on top of each other, all saying the same thing, but out of sync. Come back. I didn't understand why they said back. I had never been here before. At least, I didn't think I had. I reached for my phone to take a picture, but the screen was frozen, just a black reflection of my own face. Except it wasn't my face. It was older, thinner, eyes sunken in, mouth twisted into a smile I wasn't making. The reflection blinked even though I didn't. And behind my reflection, I saw something else. A figure, tall, thin, arms too long, hands dragging across the ground, no face, just skin stretched where features should be. I dropped the phone and ran. I didn't care where. I just ran. Branches cut my arms. Roots nearly tripped me, but I didn't stop. Every few seconds, I heard that whisper behind me. Come back. After what felt like an hour, I burst out of the forest and collapsed on the dirt road leading back to town. Everything was quiet, normal, like nothing had happened. When I got home, the house felt wrong. The air was colder than usual. The shadows were sharper. When I went into the bathroom to wash my face, I froze. In the mirror, my reflection smiled again. I didn't. And behind me, in the corner of the room, something moved. Something tall, thin, hands dragging, no face. I blinked and it was gone. The next morning, the police found my phone at the edge of the Black Pines. And they also found something else. Another door, standing upright this time, leaning against a tree, a door identical to the one I opened underground. They said the wood was warm, like it had a heartbeat. They closed off the forest. They told the town everything was fine. But last night, I woke up to a sound, a slow rhythmic knock coming from inside my house. 3 knocks, then a pause, then 3 more, not at the front door, not at any room door. It was coming from my floor, right beneath my bed. I don't know how long I can ignore it. I don't know what happens if I answer, but I keep hearing the same whisper every time I try to sleep. Come back.